What's going on XRP Army? If you're catching the replay of this stream, you can go ahead and skip ahead to the 4-minute mark. That's when everything will get going. In the meantime, I'm just going to be welcoming people into the stream, getting everything buffered in, testing audio, making sure the chat's working, which it's not right now, and getting everything going. So again, skip ahead to the 4-minute mark. If you guys are coming into the stream, again, let me know you're here. Sign off in the chat right now. The chat, for some reason, isn't working. I'm trying to refresh it. So again, 4-minute mark is when we will actually get started. Let me get the chat going here. Hopefully I can get it pulled back up. There it goes. Now it's coming through. We got Eric in the house already. I appreciate you for letting me know you're in the stream. Hopefully the audio is coming through okay. I had a complaint on the last stream that the audio level was low, but it seemed to be coming in fine on the replay on my side. So again, as everyone comes in, we will get started at the 4-minute mark. As you can see, it's a little bit of a different stream today. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. You know, there's not much going on. There's no news really to speak of, but I do have some information for you guys like I always do. We will still cover the normal things. We're going to cover the chart. We're going to cover the ETFs. We're going to cover any new news that we do have, although there's not much. But really, I want to talk about everything that's happened in 2025 going into 2026 because we have had a ton of information. Not even just a ton of information, but regulation, adoption. If you really take a look and you look at what happened in 2024 and you look at what's happened in 2025, it's a night and day difference when it comes to utility, adoption, regulation, and really what the framework looks like moving forward for the crypto community as a whole, the crypto, the crypto markets as a whole. So we're going to cover all of that. We don't have a ton of news, but again, we'll get to the 4-minute mark. I see a lot of people already hopping in the stream. I see you. I appreciate every single one of you. We got Eric, Daniel Parker. We got Thomas. That's a new name I haven't seen in here yet. Merry Christmas to you as well. Merry Christmas to you all, and happy holidays to you all. I celebrate Christmas, but I know not everyone does. So that being said, I am respectful to everyone's holidays, but guess what? I'm going to celebrate Christmas because that's what I celebrate, and I'll be, I'll say it. So happy holidays to all, but Merry Christmas to all of you as well. So we got Eric from Sweden in the house. You can say the audio is great. I appreciate it. Again, we'll start at the 4-minute mark. We're just getting everything buffered in here, letting people hop into the channel. Let's see here. So Eric from Sweden. We got Brad Dixon in the house. Merry Christmas. Dan F. Lang in the house. Merry Christmas. And Desiree saying happy winter solstice. Whatever holiday you celebrate, happy holidays to you as well. And Eric says he wants the skyrocket for a present. You want the God candle for the present. There's people out there, very, very intelligent people who agree with you. I'll try to find that in here. I don't know what his name is. I can't remember where he's from. I can't remember what his name is. I do follow him on X, but apparently the highest IQ guy in the world seems to think that XRP is about to blow up on Christmas. I don't know. He's putting that out there on X. I'll show it to you guys. Apparently, he's smarter than me, but I mean, I'm not going to be predicting that stuff. Albert Garcia in the house saying, what up? Merry Christmas to you, Albert. Let's see here. We're at the 3.5-minute mark, so we'll give it another 30 seconds. If someone can let me know how many people are in the stream, it looks like the audio is coming in good. No glitching or visual issues on my end, so we'll get started at the 4-minute mark like we always do. And nothing to be nervous about as far as XRP because we know what we hold. We know why we're here. We're here for the long view, not what the price is today, tomorrow, next week, but what it's going to be a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. That's why long view is in the channel name, right? Long view compute. We are here for the long haul. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get everything started. We are at the 4-minute mark. So again, I will hop into the chart. We're going to cover the price action and what's actually going on today. Then we will hop into the ETFs, see what's actually being physically held in supply. And then we will hop into the news and anything going on. And we're going to cover everything that's happened over the last year. Because when you really consolidate it into one package, it is a lot. I mean, more's happened in the last year of crypto than has happened in the last decade of crypto, it feels like, as far as adoption, regulation, and actually moving to what we think is going to happen. So that being said, let's hop into it. I want everyone to put your questions, comments, thoughts in the chat because once I get through all of the information, I'll come in and we are going to address every single chat Then we will hop in and do a recap and then have an XRP hangout party until everyone gets bored. All right. So Merry Christmas to you all. Without further ado, what's going on, XRP Army? Welcome back to the channel. If it's your first time here, kick back, relax. I'm not going to ask you to do anything except engage in the chat. If it's your second time here, hit subscribe, smash the like button, and engage in the chat. Chat is the lifeblood of the stream. And without further ado, we will hop into it and we will cover what's going on with the charts. So today at market open, we had a slight little pull up to 188, and then we just collapsed it right at the same time. And we're back down to 187. Again, not a ton of movement, still consolidating, accumulating like we've been talking about, but important distinction. We talked yesterday about RSI and how RSI was cooling, how price was climbing. And I told you the reverse of that is also possible. Now, when we were discussing it yesterday, we said when RSI is cooling, right? This is our RSI indicator right here. So yesterday we were talking about how RSI was going down, right? How RSI was going down, but price was staying flat. So when RSI goes down and price stays flat, that's usually indicative of a move that's going to go the opposite direction, right? It's going to go up. Now we're seeing the reverse of that. We're seeing RSI going down, right? We're seeing RSI going up, We're seeing RSI going up while price is staying flat. This is a bad sign. Now, that being said, the good sign didn't come to fruition for us and price went down. So maybe the bad sign will give us the opposite. When we're talking about, no one knows what these things are going to do. You can look at any indicator and tell yourself any story you want to tell. No one knows if it's going to go up, down, sideways. No one knows. Okay. No one knows when it's going to happen. If they try to tell you, they're lying to you. We can come up with predictions and models, which is what we've been doing, and get an idea. But that's why we're here for the long view. We're not here for what the price is doing today, because right now the entire market is today, unless you own some XDC. But I mean, everything is down today. It's a red day. And what's really curious about it being a red day, we got positive economic news today, right? So GDP, right? Our GDP for Q3 was expected. So the last quarter, it was 3.3. It was expected to come in at a 3.8, and it came in at a 4.3. So not only did we grow 1% quarter over quarter, but we also exceeded expectations by 0.5% in national GDP. That would be bullish under most circumstances, okay? But right now it's end of the year. People are selling for taxes. It's a slower time in the market. A lot of times people are trying to, mess with their tax books right now, take profits, balance the balance sheet. There's not a lot of big moves. But that being said, liquidity is razor thin. So if a move were to happen, it could potentially shoot things one way or another. So when you hear people talking about major moves coming over Christmas, it is possible, because there's not as much play in the market. There's not as much liquidity in the market. So smaller moves can have big impacts, or, less amount of money can have a big impact. But that being said, it's not something I'm expecting, but it is a possibility. That being said, let's look at ETFs. What we're here for, what we've been modeling, what we've been following the entire time, because we have done nothing but seen XRP being removed from supply. So that being said, Franklin Templeton was at 96 million. I have a sneaky suspicion this is going up because I saw something on X earlier today. Let's see here. So 96 million goes to, yeah, they're over 100 million now. 101 million for Franklin Templeton. They added another 5 million yesterday. Grayscale is going from 115. Remember, they just added 5 million the day before. So Grayscale is going from 115 million to, if it would ever load. Hopefully my internet's not going slow for you guys. It's going slow for me. What is happening? Come on, Grayscale. Are you guys just down today or something? It's not my internet. It's their website. They don't have anything. Let's try refresh again. It didn't come up. Oh, now it came up. Okay, so it's just their website. So they are currently, what do we say they were at? Now they're at 116. So they went from 115 to 116. So they still gained 1 million in Grayscale. Their website is always terrible. Canary Capital, 175 million, going to no change, 175 million still. So nothing out, nothing in. 112. Whoa, Bitwise went up 10 million. They went up from 112 to 122. 10 million increase for Bitwise. They are not playing, man. I'm telling you, they're still getting eaten up every day. It's about 10 million a day. and 135 million now for 21 shares. So they took in another 3 million, 4 million. So I mean, we're looking at 13 to 15 million removed yesterday from ETS. So again, it's averaging about 10 million a day. This is not changing. It is only going to accelerate. I understand price is going down, but it is being removed from supply. Coinbase now is accepting Solana deposits and withdrawals via the Base network. That being said, let me see if I bookmarked. And if you guys want to follow me on X, I do retweet all this stuff. I do put posts out there every once in a while. It is Longview Crypto. So if you don't want to wait around for the stream and you want to get it as soon as I see it, you guys can follow me there, Longview Crypto. Let me check my bookmarks now. I hate how they changed this now. You have to look around a different place, but I'm pretty sure I saved it. Let's see here. Wisdom Tree ETF coming soon. This is not official announcement. This is just some random person making stuff up, but we're still waiting. It's expected in Q1 of 2026. Zach Rector talking about people complaining about his price stuff. Now, I mean, he kind of brought that upon himself. Here he is. Young Hoon Kim said, soon it will make sense. IQ 276. He's been doing a lot of stuff with XRP. So right here it says, built for XRP in mind, guided by God. Let's see, my IQ name, Lamb 276 is issued on Solana, but everything it creates participation records. So he is all about XRP and Jesus, apparently. But he was saying that Christmas XRP will understand come Christmas. He is all about XRP lately. So something interesting I found out, but Young Hoon Kim, IQ 276, XRP supporter. He says it's going to happen on Christmas. He's smarter than I, but we'll see what happens. That being said, we got to talk about what we talk about. XRP ETFs extend daily inflow as total volume tops 1.2 billion. Again, over 6 straight weeks of inflows. Ethereum and Bitcoin have both seen outflows. This is not changing. It's 6 weeks straight. We're trying to beat Bitcoin streak of 70 something days, and we are coming in on it. That being said, though, with it being the holidays, with price being down, people are selling for tax purposes. The negative sentiment has never been worse in this year. I mean, this is the worst XRP has been since before April. So historically, when we have a lot of negative sentiment, XRP has a rally. Whenever retail is finally done with it and everything, it's always a pump right after for whatever reason. I don't know. But XRP faces rising negativity, a classic signal for its potential price rebound, according to leading on-chain analytics, including to leading on-chain analytics from Sentiment. XRP is facing unusually high levels of negative social media sentiment, and I can attest for that because it has been dying on YouTube for the last 2 weeks. No one's watching. It's going down for everyone. While this may seem bearish, history suggests it often signals the opposite. In crypto markets, extreme retail pessimism has frequently preceded strong price rebounds, positioning XRP at a potential contrarian inflection point. And for those of you who have been around XRP long enough, you know this is true. Every time people are giving up, throwing in the towel, it looks like it's at its worst possible point. It always spikes. It always seems like it. And if you are holding for the long view, you'll catch that spike. Again, not financial advice. Nothing is financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. This is for entertainment and education purposes only. If you can't tell by the Santa hat and the Santa behind me, Hula Santa, we're having fun today. All right. Do your own research, but we're just trying to have some fun. That being said, we covered the news, we covered the ETFs, but I want to talk briefly about adoption, sentiment, and just the markets as a whole and what's going forward. And I want everyone to take a real thought and look back at what's actually happened this year. Okay. We have a new SEC chair that's pro crypto, right? The Biden administration was completely anti crypto. All right. So new SEC pro crypto, new Fed being announced next month, pro crypto, current Fed pro crypto, CFTC, Michael Saylor, pro crypto. All right. Trump wants to push quantitative easing, wants to cut rates, announcing a new Fed chair. All right. We're going to get more money in the markets next year. If Trump has his way, we're getting more money. All of these things are extremely, not only one, bullish for risk on assets like crypto, but two, very bullish for just assets that protect against inflation and against the debasement. Gold, silver, Bitcoin. Unfortunately, I still think I don't trust Bitcoin. But that being said, things that are deflationary, okay, because this is going to be very similar to what happened in 2020, 2021. We're going to print ourselves into oblivion, and then we're going to pay for it with inflation 4 or 5 years from now. But if you hold assets, they're going to rise. Okay, when we print, it's going to rise, and that is coming. But this time we're plugged in. 4 billion transactions on the XRP ledger, confirmed by Schwartz. Okay, that's the real thing. We covered the account set spikes. I don't have it pulled up here, but we covered the account set spikes throughout the end of November into December. The ledger is turning on. You can actually see the activity on XRP scan. I suggest you go look at it. Take a look. If anyone who's holding XRP should have XRP scan bookmarked, where you can actually see the activity taking place on the ledger. That's real use case. That's real utility. And over the last 45 days, it has been ramping up massively, not just in account sets, but in payments as well. 4 billion payments this year. Okay. 4 billion in payments. It is double what it was the previous year. It is speeding up rapidly and it's turning on. Okay. So if we're talking about all of these tailwinds that just started in 2025, okay, we haven't really felt that yet. It's definitely not reflected in price yet. Price has done nothing but fall and consolidate. So that being said, again, we're here for the long view, but if we've had this amount of growth over the last 10 years, right? Think, pre first pump, but in the last decade, what, 11 cents, 8 cents, I think is what it was to its current price now. All right, give it another decade. Anyway, say we get that same level of increase over the next decade. What's it going to look like? I bet most people here would be extremely happy if we had 1,000% of increase over a next 10-year period in any of their crypto holdings, not just XRP. I do think it's going to be possible for a lot of people, a lot of other cryptocurrencies. It's not going to be a one trick pony. Again, my opinion, not financial advice. But that's everything I have as far as the news and as far as updates. So let's hop into the chat and see what's going on today. I appreciate all of you taking time out of your day being here today. Again, not too much news. It is more for fun, but I'm here more to talk to you guys and hang out with you guys because that's really what I'm interested in here today. It's the holidays, right? Holidays, the year's over, just about. I mean, some of us are still expecting the God candle, and I'd be happy to discuss it with you. And again, I would love to be proven wrong more than anyone, but I think we're going to see our real appreciation when utility turns on, right? The utility phase, the phase of utility. So let's see who's in the house. We had Eric. He was the first one in here today. God, I cannot talk. Eric was the first one in here today. Hello, Eric. Daniel Parker's in the house. He said Merry Christmas. Thomas Correa said Merry Christmas. And let's see here. Brad Dixon said Merry Christmas. Appreciate you. Dan Flang said Merry Christmas. Desiree's in the house. She said Happy Winter Solstice. Eric says he wants the skyrocket for a present. I would love the God candle for a present. If someone could make that happen, I would really appreciate it. Sprinkle some pixie dust. I would love it. Let's see here. Albert Garcia said, "What's up, brother?" and threw out some Christmas trees. I do love me some trees. Anyway, let's see. Eric's nervous. He's biting his fingers. Raul said Merry Christmas, and when we started, we had 17 people in the stream. So appreciate every single one of you in here today. Hopefully we have some more people in the stream now. Hopefully it grew up there. Let's see. Pamp Stamper. Sup, homie? What's going on, man? The name's funny. I can't lie. Alberto Garcia said, "Is the XRP supply getting low?" It is getting lower. The last update we saw with the XRP supply was about 4 or 5 days ago, I think, and it said that 1.6 billion had been removed from circulating or had been removed from exchanges. Excuse me. $1.6 billion worth of XRP had been removed from exchanges over the last 45 days, and that was about a week ago. And again, we can still see every day XRP coming out of circulating supply into the ETF trust. We had another 15 million locked up just yesterday, between yesterday and today, based on what we refreshed. We check it every day. So how low is it getting? It's impossible to see. We can't see the entire circulating supply. But what we can see is that another 10 million is gone. That we can see. I personally think, according to my math model that we ran a couple days ago, we'll see it said from that point 4 to 8 weeks before a 20 to 40% increase, and another 20 to 40% increase is imminent. I don't know if we're going to see that before the end of the year with people selling with taxes and with the markets being so quiet at the end of the year. There's just not a lot going on there. But according to the supply and demand dynamics of the model, we should be seeing something very soon. And again, not financial advice, but it is the model I'm following based on math. Let's see here. King Kong 1. Jake Claver still says this year. What? I hope he's right. I mean, I would love to be wrong in that case. I just don't think that's what's going to happen. But I would love for it to be right. Raul said, get to work and drop that price so I can get some on the dip. You know, that would be a good way to spend some Christmas money, right? Buy some of this cheap crypto, not just XRP, but some of this cheap crypto as a whole. I mean, if we look at the entirety of the market, I mean, everything's down today, but if we look for the year, with a couple exceptions, ZEC, XMR, and TRX, with the exception of those, it is a fire sale right now. You can get HBAR down 58%, Algo down 68%, Avalanche down 67%, VeChain down 77%, XDC 35%, Chainlink. And don't forget things like Chainlink and HBAR and, you know, Flare. Like, some of these have major partnerships. Ondo's down 76%. It has major partnership. Velo down 71%. Ondo's partnered with BlackRock. You know what I'm saying? So like, some of these are just look juicy as far as I'm concerned. I wish I had more money to buy right now, because it is a fire sale. It is a Black Friday sale on crypto right now, in my opinion. Again, not financial advice. CMGH says, why the dip with all of this good news? Could it be because of the holiday week? A lot of times at the end of the year, people are balancing their portfolios and balancing their books, and they'll sell things. They're not doing a lot of buying right now. They're doing a lot of strategic selling to try and bring their profits down to as close to zero as possible to pay less taxes. Really, that's truthfully kind of what's going on. It always happens in the last 2 weeks of the year. People are balancing the balance sheets. That's all it is. They're trying to sell. You know, they're honestly, now is the best time to realize losses and gains and try to get everything balanced, so you have to pay as few taxes as possible. So a lot of times what they'll do is they'll sell something for a loss, you know, the week of New Year's or the week of Christmas, and then they'll turn around and rebuy it the next year so they can realize that loss, and it affects their taxes. Believe me, taxes and balancing the books, man, it gets fishy. And that happens a lot at the end of the year. People are just trying to balance the books right now. Everything is going down together. It's not XRP, it's whole coins. Exactly. It's all the risk assets right now. And again, people are using it to balance their taxes. Truthfully, really. I mean, you can Google that. That's a tale as old as time. And the reason I know that is because my dad did it and I do it. Now is the best time to take a loss, especially if you have profits. You want to balance it out so you don't have to pay taxes. You can turn around and rebuy it next year if you want. Not financial advice. Cynthia said, Jake already admitted per a former employee that the year-end price prediction is simply a strategy to hook the viewer and keep them hooked on hopium. The strategy worked. He was profiting. Well, and we discussed this earlier, Cynthia, and it's not just Jake. A lot of people do it. And it, quite frankly, it's the way our human psychology works. When you do theories like that and theses like that, whether you intend to do it or not, every time a domino falls, you get a dopamine hit. Mentally, physically, it is psychological. So every time a domino falls, you get another dopamine hit and another dopamine hit and another dopamine hit. It's the same way people structure videos. It's the reason why people get caught doom scrolling, right? You get a little dopamine hit. And each little flash cut, each little zoom, each noise that you hear is designed to reenact your brain. This is a lot of people come on here. You have to be careful. A lot of people come on here. It is manipulation. People are trying to make a buck. Okay. Again, I'm not monetized. I don't have memberships. I'm trying to give you the truth, trying to give you real information and grow a real community and not sell you hopium and build something real, something that's going to last. Okay. So if you guys are finding me because you came across those crazy predictions, I'm here to debunk them and create a real long view approach to crypto on how we can actually make money. Warren Buffett said it best. Okay. Warren Buffett said it best. Everyone comes to him to make money, but no one wants to listen to him because everyone wants to get rich fast. He says get rich slow. It's how everyone makes money. Again, not financial advice. It's how the wealthy are born. More people, if you have 9 out of 10 people are going to lose everything and one person's going to get rich when you try to get rich quick. Okay. More people lose. You're not likely to be that one person. The odds are not in your favor. Okay. Again, not financial advice. I'm trying to build something real with you all. Can you give CMJH asked if we can give an update on supply? Again, the last one I saw was like a week ago, a few days ago, as far as what was available on exchanges. So when we look at what's available on exchanges, the last update we saw was a couple weeks ago. Let me see if I can find anything new right now. Let's see. The last thing I saw. Okay, so AI says XRP exchange supply is currently low with significant outflows around 1.35 billion moving to cold storage recently, reducing sell pressure and tightening liquidity for potential price rally, with roughly 2.6 billion XRP left on exchanges, down from 3.95 billion. Traders are watching for a breakout as institutions move assets off exchange. So this is just repeating the last information I have before. It doesn't look like there is a new update. It says current exchange balances rest around 2.6, which the last chart I showed you guys was 2.66. So this is reiterating the last of it. Currently, we know if we want to discuss the overall supply, we know that Ripple holds 34.4 billion in escrow and another 5.1 billion in spendable wallets. So Ripple holds roughly 40 billion. We know about 625 million are held in the 5 spot ETFs that we're tracking, and exchanges have roughly 2.6 billion. So the rest of it is held by large whales. You actually can go on and look at the whale activity on the XRP ledger as well. So you can look at wallets, you can look at what's being transferred and moved around. So right now, exchanges hold $2.6 billion worth, not 2.6 billion XRP, but $2.6 billion worth of XRP. So roughly 1.3 billion of current XRP left on exchanges as of the last report that we had. We don't have any other reports right now. AI and Google is repeating back to me what I said. Let's see here. So that's what we know right now, CMJH. Desiree asked or said, I rarely watch Jake, maybe 3 times, and I believe he really thinks it could. It's called magical thinking. Well, you know, some people can get locked into a thesis. They get the blinders on and they can't see anything else. And you have to give yourself a dose of reality every once in a while. I get the blinders on too. I consider myself an XRP maxi. Every once in a while, doubt creeps in from time to time. But truthfully, because I hold many assets and I truthfully believe that multiple assets will win this, I am hedged technically, but it does not shake my belief in XRP. And because I'm going about it in that way, it gives me a lot of confidence regardless of what the price does. Again, my opinion, not financial advice, because I believe what's going to happen over the next 10 years is going to grow the entire crypto space, just like the internet boomed during, right after the .com bust. Okay. Again, I believe 2021 was the crypto bubble bust, and now we're building. And I think XRP is going to be one of those winners. Again, my opinion, not financial advice. Let's see here. Let me get back into, I lost where we were. I have to catch back up. You guys are blowing up chat. I appreciate every single one of you, really. And again, too, this is a good time while I'm going through the chat and refining my place. I want to take a moment and thank every single one of you. Tomorrow actually is going to be the 3-month mark of me restarting this channel. And we've had insane growth. And I mean, amidst a bear market, XRP going down the entire time I've been here. We've been talking about the fundamentals. We've been talking about the long view, and the channel has grown fantastically. And I owe that to all of you. So please hit the like button, keep commenting. If you guys want more of the non-fluff, real deal XRP and crypto news and crypto sentiment and what's actually happening in the macro economy that's impacting everything, so we can paint a full picture of what's really happening and not dream of just God candles, but actually have context as to why things could happen, hit the like button, share it. I appreciate it. I would love to see it grow. And thank you to all of you. I appreciate it. It's been 3 months to the day tomorrow, and the channel has grown great, and I appreciate every single one of you. So let me find out where I was in the chat, because you guys are doing great. Let's see here. Where was I? I gotta find it. Okay, there it was. So last one was Desiree. Okay, yeah, magical thinking. People can get stuck in their own reality sometimes. Unfortunately, I've seen it happen to quite a few people, and it doesn't end up well. Let's see here. Yeshua says, "Merry Christmas. Is Japan gonna raise their interest rates again?" Yes, they will, because it failed. For those of you who haven't seen it, the yen actually is weakening to the dollar, even though they raised rates and we cut rates. They're talking about an additional 75 basis point raise over next year, getting themselves to 1.5% by the end of the year in 2026. So it seems like Japan is in a lot of trouble, and they're going to have to do something. Their economy is not doing well, and they are rumored to be hiking another 75 basis points or 0.75% over the course of the next year. That is what I was reading on Japan. So we'll see what happens with that. That could be bad for the rest of the markets, and we are starting to pump in liquidity through the stealth quantitative easing, right? The T-bill purchases and repurchases. Excuse me. 2026, liquidity is going to get spicy. I think they're going to print like crazy, especially when we get that new Fed chair. Again, my opinion, not financial advice. Let's see here. Damien says, "I love the show, bro. Thanks for your effort. Merry Christmas." Merry Christmas to you as well. Merry Christmas to you as well. What's up with ETF, Grayscale? Grayscale has a mind of their own. Let's see here. Turple Nurple, we are in uncharted waters. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Exactly. Dollar cost average in. Again, not financial advice, but whether it goes up or down, if you have your buying plan on how you're going to do things, you won't be surprised, because you're here for the long haul. Yeah, Dan Effling, tax obligations, they suck. I know. Damn taxes. Excuse my language. All right, where did I go? There it goes. Raul said, "Us people that bought high, all we can do is buy now so we can drop the average price. Why I don't mind low prices." Right, it's an opportunity to get your dollar cost average lower right now. Truthfully, I mean, if you believe in what actually is going to happen 5 years, 10 years from now, if that truly is your thought process and thesis, and that's what you're convicted in, right now is an opportunity. Truly. So I completely agree with you, Raul. Miss Wendy said Jake is building his company from that videos. Jake built his company from those videos. And hey, it worked out well for him, and he did a lot for the XRP community in space. However, unfortunately, people like me are paying the price now, because every new person who walks in, I'm associated with that, and I have to, I truly thought about that before I started, and I was like, I need to put something in the title of my channel to differentiate me and set me apart. And I'm like, okay, long view. We're here for the long view. I'm like, it can't be much more clear than that, right? And I still get it. It doesn't stop. Let's see here. Race fans in the house. He says, racing in the house. Morning, Greg Biffil. I don't know who that is. Pamster, for me, I found that holding pays off over time. When in doubt, zoom out. That's a great motto. When in doubt, zoom out. Look where you've come from. And, for those of you who came in late, that stinks. I'm sorry. But truthfully, let me give you a little bit of a background story. For those of you who may or may not know, I started with XRP in 2019, built it up, And I actually had a bag in 2021 that was worth multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars. And of course, everything crashed and it went down. And I actually had to liquidate in 2023. Okay. So back then, my average, I want to say it was like 42 cents on XRP at that point, and I had to liquidate in 2023. So I had to restart everything in 2023 and start building up. And right now, my average is at $1.73. So looking at it from the perspective of having to buy high, I've had to do it in two different phases of XRP, and I'm still technically in the green as of right now. So I feel your pain, and it takes time. You know, if you believe in the long view, dollar cost average it. That's all there is to it. Race fan says, thanks to all the retail out there that are selling, it's been a blue light special. Yeah, I completely agree with you. It's been a fire sale for the last, 2 months? I mean, none of these tailwinds that are happening next year are priced in yet. Again, nothing's priced in yet. Miss Wendy said, be careful of institutional custody. They are not FDIC insured and can go under and take your crypto. Whenever you are looking for institutional custody, it is important to check the insurance and what they are liable for. Okay. Again, cold wallets. Nothing. I've been doing research into cold wallets. Nothing is quantum secured right now. It's not a matter of a cold wallet necessarily being quantum secured. It's a matter of the blockchain being quantum secured. So that being said, the most personal protection you can have right now would be an air-gapped cold wallet, something that's never been online, it doesn't have presence to hackers, things like that. I haven't tested one out yet. I actually got, again, this isn't me selling you anything. They sent me some stuff. I haven't tested any of it out yet, but since I'm just hanging out with my subscribers, they sent me their whole, here it is. They sent me their whole lineup. EliPal did, for me to test out. I haven't even opened them yet. I just got them. But I'm curious about this one here. The EliPad Titan 2.0. It's air gapped. I don't know if the light's messing with it, but it's air gapped. Hasn't been hooked up to the internet. So I haven't researched them yet, but I'm about to start messing with them. So I'll let you guys know when I find out some more information on that. But security is paramount. Okay, security is paramount. If you're going to do any kind of institutional custody, make sure you understand their insurance. If you're going to do any kind of cold storage, make sure you trust and make sure you have your keys secured. Do not lose your keys. Do not lose your device. You are responsible at that point. Let's see here. Let me see where I'm at here. Where was I at in this thing? Miss Wendy, that's where it was. Yeshua, can you explain how do dollar cost average? So what dollar cost averaging is say, for instance, let's just say an example. I received $20,000 today and I want to invest in XRP. I should not go buy $20,000 of XRP right now. I should formulate a plan of accumulating XRP over time. So I would buy $1,000 today, $1,000 tomorrow, $2,000 next week, $2,000 the week after that, regardless of what it's doing in the price, because you're never going to be able to perfectly time the bottom, and you're not going to know what the top is. So the whole concept of dollar cost averaging is, instead of trying to predict what the best price is, you just buy a little bit at each price, and you just keep going up and down with the market, and you'll get an average price. That's what dollar cost averaging is. It's instead of me taking $20,000 and buying XRP right now at $1.88, which is what it is right now, I instead buy $2,000 today and see what it does. And if it goes down, I buy a little bit more tomorrow. And if it goes down, I buy a little bit more tomorrow. And just keep averaging in. That is dollar cost averaging. It's just buying over time, as opposed to spending all of your money at once in one lump sum investment at one price. Let's see here. Pamster, do you have any thoughts on crypto trusts? Are you talking about crypto trust? Are you talking about treasury companies? Are you talking about like creating a trust for your kids or for someone else? I mean, I personally do have, I mean, if you can't really call it a trust. I mean, I'm not exactly sure what you're asking. Can you be more specific, Pamster, on what you're meaning by crypto trusts? Um, Race fan said Greg Biffle was a NASCAR champion that lost his life along with his family in a plane crash. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I that's how detached I am from regular news. I'm pretty much deeply in finance. I didn't even hear that. So that sucks. Raul said, I'm at 224, just started a few months ago. I feel your pain, Raul. It's, comes with the territory of investing, unfortunately. It's part of what we sign up for. Turple Nurple said, I use the Uphold debit card and get 10% XRP reward on everyday purchases. I also have the Gemini XRP MasterCard, which I also gets rewards. Okay, so adding XRP while spending cash. That's one way to do it, as long as you're paying them off every month and not getting stuck with the interest, right? So if you're going to use rewards credit cards, they're great, but they only work if you pay them off every month. Not financial advice. Speaking from someone who has $0 in credit card debt, I hate credit cards. I use them. I pay them off every month. I get my cash back and use that for various things. But yeah, you cannot hold a credit card balance. That is the worst thing in the world. You have to pay it off every month. You don't want to pay the interest. Race fan said, remember that gent who lost 3 million in XRP used LAPAL. There was a bug. Research his issue before you store on LAPAL. I will. Again, I haven't messed with him yet. I just started. I just received him to look into it. So thank you for that advice, though, Race fan. Again, I haven't looked much into it. I just know they sent it. So I try to be clear for you guys. Pampster says, or Pamp Stamper, excuse me, said living trust or family trust. I strongly suggest having a living trust for your children. Again, not financial advice. I would recommend having a living trust for your children. I would recommend buying whole life insurance for your children when they're born. Even if it's just a $15,000 policy. But if you get it when they're born, it's $2 and then they cannot be denied. So, and again, whole life insurance allows you to borrow against it. None of this is financial advice, but whole life insurance allows you to borrow against it. Things like that. Everyone wants to do things like college funds and whatever. Me personally, instead of a college fund, I'd rather buy an $80,000 whole life insurance policy for my child when they're born and pay $2, $3, $4 a month. And they have $80,000 of coverage they can borrow against, take loans against, use towards college, use towards whatever. And it's against their own money. It's just a really good way of setting them up for life. So I would say that is key. If you have a business, if you are able to start your own business, even if it's like a side business or something like that, an LLC, you can employ your children and pay them the minimum $13,800 a year, no taxes. So you don't have to pay the taxes. They don't have to pay the taxes. You take $6,000 of that a month, or $6,000 of that a year, invest into an IRA. And then by the time they're 18, they don't have to invest anymore. And they'll have an IRA by the time they're 65 that has over $1 million in it. Like all these little things, just moving money around, avoiding taxes and keeping it in your kid. Like that's how you build generational wealth. You shift the money around, you get protection, all those things. Again, not financial advice, something you should look into with a CPA or your financial advisor. But that's what I perfectly do believe. I think living trusts are great. All of my personal assets are held in a living trust, so that way they don't have to deal with taxes and all that stuff if I were to pass. And then also setting up, IRAs and things like that for your children, life insurance for your children. Seriously, whole life insurance when your kids are born is the best investment you can make for your kids. Not financial advice. And I appreciate you too, Pastor. That is all of the information. That is all of the chats. Let's do a quick recap, and then you guys can keep the chat going. We'll keep talking, but let's do a quick recap on what is going on, what we covered today for anyone who came in late. And if someone can let me know how many people are in the chat, I do appreciate it. So getting into the recap of everything, currently price is at $1.88. We talked about RSI cooling as the price is dropping. That is not good. That is not a good thing. That is indicative of the price going down. But again, we saw the reverse of this yesterday and the price still went down. So maybe we'll get the opposite. Again, no one knows what this chart is going to do. We're here for the long view. We're here for what's going to happen a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, not for what this price says today. Because as we know, we covered the entire crypto market, except for a very select few, are down this year, as well as for the day. Everything's bleeding today except for XDC. This is the entire market. It has nothing to do with crypto. And that is because people have tax responsibilities they have to take care of, right? A lot of people are selling, trying to balance their balance sheets, get their taxes as low as possible. So they sell at a loss. They do it on purpose. Don't worry, they'll buy back in later. That's why you always see a pump in January. And then XRP currently in trust, Franklin Templeton finally topped 100 million. They're at 101 million today. Grayscale is at 116 million total XRP in trust. Canary Capital stayed at 175. So we had, what was this? This was an additional, 4 million from Franklin Templeton, an additional million from Grayscale. Bitwise had a large increase. They went up 10 million, and then 21 shares went up an additional 3 million. So roughly 15 million-ish were locked back up into ETF trust from yesterday. Again, this is not slowing down. The inflows continue. We have not yet had a day of outflows since XRP ETFs have gone live. We also talked briefly about that. ETF volume tops 1.2 billion. Inflow consistency, not one single day of outflows. XRP ETFs have outperformed its counterparts. On December 22nd alone, US XRP ETFs recorded 43.9 million in net inflows. So yesterday, 43.9 million in net inflows, marking their strongest day showing since early December. So again, not only is it continuing, but during this slow period that we just discussed, when people are selling and taxes and all that nonsense, right? ETFs are still buying. It's still being bought. You can see it. It's truth. Institutions are buying XRP nonstop. And we talked about sentiment being one of its all-time lows for XRP. And not just that, not just, when you're talking about this kind of sentiment or anything like that, but YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, everybody's views are down. Every content creator doing XRP, including myself, views are down, subscribers are down. Everything is shrinking because no one cares. No one wants to know. They're sick of it. The sentiment is gone. No one cares what we say because the price is still going down. And that is usually when it goes up. Not financial advice. But we did have a couple more people in the chat while I was doing the recap here. Pamster said he appreciated me. And Yeshua said, should we be investing in American utility coins? Not financial advice, but I am. I am focusing on, because don't forget, we got the innovation exemption came down from the SEC in regards to cryptocurrency in the US. So there will be a lot more US-based pilot programs, and we're going to see a raising adoption throughout the year, throughout 2026. I think it's going to be more rapid than people are anticipating. The Office of the Comptroller, right? The OCC had already reached out to banks and let them know they can buy and sell crypto for their customers. It's night and day difference from what it was a year ago. It seems like the entire financial system is now on board with cryptocurrency and blockchain. So everything's getting set into place, but the adoption hasn't even scaled yet. So, again, not financial advice, but I'm investing in American-based crypto assets, XRP at the front and center of it. But not only that, I'm also looking at anything utility, what's being adopted, what has partners, what's focused in tokenization. All of these things are confirmed happening. The DTCC is tokenizing the stock market. That's confirmed. XRP had over 4 billion in transactions, or over 4 billion transactions. That's confirmed. XRP had a major account set spike over the end of November to December, more than it has done in the lifetime of the ledger, right? So think about it, in 30 days, more account set activity than in the lifetime of the entire ledger. Something's about to happen. I don't know what it is. Something's turning on. The ledger activity is ramping up behind the scenes. No one's paying attention to it. I don't know why. I mean, again, not financial advice, but 2026 is looking to be like a great year. Dennis, do you think gold and silver is taking all of the volume right now? I do think that gold and silver is taking a lot of the volume right now. People are hedging because they're afraid. They don't know what's going to happen. So I think once we get into the new year, and think about it, if you were trying to hedge your taxes, mind you, if you're trying to hedge your taxes, well, okay. So we can talk about this in two different ways. If you're trying to hedge your taxes, one thing would be to sell whatever you have at a loss, move it into a rock solid asset. Nothing's more rock solid than gold. So you move it into a rock solid asset like gold, and you sit until next year, do your taxes, and then buy back in. There's that. Also, there is the theory that a lot of the big market makers got royally jacked on October 10th, and they're bleeding the market to get their gains back throughout the end of the year. I heard some people talking about that. That would be a large coordinated effort to do so. But I do believe a lot of the volume is going into gold and silver right now because it's stable. And I think a lot of people are doing that because they are selling and stabilizing their taxes balance sheet. It happens every year. I have sat in many meetings and many offices talking about what's going to happen with this stock or that stock, or selling this asset or depreciating this asset, all to bring the balance down for the tax return. And then, well, so like for instance, I remember sitting with someone coming the end of the year, and they had, I want to say, their company, after everything, their company was sitting with like just over $250,000 worth of profits for the year, and he was going to have to pay, I want to say it was like $115,000 in taxes for it. So what he ended up doing, he worked in freight. So what he ended up doing is he went and bought himself a brand new truck, brand new semi truck and trailer. The whole thing cost him, I don't know, I want to say, the whole thing probably cost him, it was like $740,000 at the time. So it was like $740,000. Well, because of that equipment, he can depreciate it 80% in the first year. He can depreciate 80% in the first year. So he went and bought that truck, depreciated it, and he got to claim a negative balance on his taxes for that year because it came out to be like negative like 300 and something thousand. So that $250,000 he got to keep tax free because he bought a new truck and depreciated it. Again, these are the games that they play with taxes to avoid taxes. So again, there's a lot of funny stuff that happens at the end of the year to avoid the taxes. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of that is happening right now. Again, not financial advice. All right, that is the end of the stream. I have gone through all of the chats. I've gone through all of the recap. I hope all of you have a very happy holiday. I appreciate every single one of you. I will be back tomorrow. I don't think I'll be having the Christmas hat, but in the meantime, let's hear. We'll have rockin' Christmas hula Santa here for you to say goodbye.